Hello everyone. In this video, let's see how to learn and how to transact our 8th class new English reader, and the first lesson is the best Christmas present in the world.
The best Christmas present in the world. The best Christmas present in the world.
While in this lesson, there are 8 components, and the first component is before you read. And what all we have to do is spend at least 20 minutes discussing the dates and events given under before you read, and give freedom to our children to express their own views. And I'm sure that this discussion will provide an excellent base for initiating work on the story under reference. For example, this is how we'll find in our lesson there are some dates or periods of time in the history of the world that are so significant that everyone knows and remembers them. The story you will read mentions one such date and event, a war between the British and the Germans in 1914. Can you guess which war it was? Do you know which events the dates below refer to? 4th July 1776, 17 December 1903, 6th August 1945, 30th January 1948, 12th April 1961, and 20th July 1969. Well, if the children don't answer, what all we have to do is we can ask the children to refer the answers at the end of the lesson so that they will have a clear idea. And well, now the second component is use glossary given in the reader. The best part of this is you can find meanings for the words, unfamiliar words, on the very page itself only. For example, spotted it, you can find saw it, found it. Okay, in the same way you can find, you have to use the glossary that is given in the reader, and that is you can find on the same paper itself. And now the third component is comprehension check. At the end of each section is a recall of what children have read so far, and what the teachers have to do is design while reading comprehension exercises in the form of factual comprehension questions, multiple choice questions, and completion of sentences. So usually we focus only on factual questions, but what we are supposed to do is we have to design various questions, for making our children understand in a better way. For example, so the factual question or inferential comprehension question is, why is Jim ashamed to say that Fritz began it? And you can use another multiple choice question like, Jim is ashamed to say that Fritz began it because number 1, he didn't know how to do it. Number 2, he wishes he had done it first. Number 3, he didn't want to do it. And here is another type of exercise or question we can use, that is sentence completion. Usually we call it like fill in the blanks. So, but it is true dash that Fritz began it, much to my delight. or shame or dismay. So this is how we have to uh, use this component under comprehension check. The fourth component is working with the text. Questions under working with the text to be answered orally, later to be written in the copybook. At the end of the lesson, draw children's attention to the two quotations given in the box. Let them discuss how the story illustrates the same ideas. Then ask them to find sentences in the story which appeal to them most. For example, we agreed about everything and he was my enemy. No one dies in a football match. No children are orphaned. No wives become widows. I know from all that happened today how much both armies long for peace. We shall be together again. I'm sure of it. So this is one example and the best example of the usage of irony in the story. The fifth component is working with language, and this is all about grammar. And you can find easily how we have to introduce grammar. Look at these sentences from the story. I spotted it in a junk shop in Bridport. The man said it was made in the early 19th century. This one was in bad condition. And now what we have to do is the italicized verbs are in the past tense. They tell us what happened in the past before now. Now here is a small task. Read the passage below and underline the verbs in the past tense. For example, a man got on the train and sat down. The compartment was empty except for one lady. She took her gloves off. A few hours later, the police arrested the man. So now ask the students to underline the verbs in the past tense. For example, got and sat, was, took, arrested. The sixth component is dictionary word. I know that our children have dictionaries, so let's make use of that dictionary. By the end of the journey, we had run out of drinking water. Look at the verb run out of in this sentence. It's a phrasal verb. Well, we all know that it has two parts, a verb and a preposition or an adverb. And phrasal verbs often have meanings that are different from the meanings of their parts. Now find these phrasal verbs in the story. Burn out, light up, look on, run out, give out. Write down the sentences in which they occur. And now consult a dictionary and write down the meaning that you think matches the meaning of the phrasal verb in the sentence. So we can make use of the dictionary and enhance their vocabulary under this section. And the next important component is the seventh component is speaking. And there are some suggested interesting activities. The first one, you can find what kind of presents do you like and why? What are the things you keep in mind when you buy presents for others? Give an opportunity for the children to speak more about the presents that they are going to give to their friends or parents on their birthday or on any important occasion. So discuss with your partner. For example, you might buy a book because it can be read and reread over a period of time. In group, discuss whether wars are a good way to end conflicts between countries. Then present your arguments to the whole class. Provide an opportunity for our children to speak better. And the last and the eighth important component is writing. So in this component, you can find an interesting task related to a diary entry or a letter, and we can ask the students to write a story using the outlines. So these are all the 8 components that we have to keep in view while transacting a lesson or while learning a lesson from our English reader. Thank you, and let's watch in the next video the best Christmas part in the world.